All right, guys, this is DJ Wolf Live. I gotta talk about this. This is something that I am somewhat familiar with. I actually am familiar with. So they've been talking about this. They've been talking about this Carnival Cruise fight at the terminal down in Texas. And it's probably happened in other places too. I just didn't know about it. Surprised it ain't happened out in Baltimore. Oh, I hope it don't happen in Baltimore. But that's usually where I sail from. Not just with Carnival, but other cruise lines too. I'm not going to name because I'll tell you about that in a minute. But anyway, and it was pretty wild. So I've seen several videos about it. I even seen a couple of videos where folks are fighting on a couple of ships. And I'm also watching this thing called Poop Cruise, which is a story about the Carnival Poop Cruise I had in 2013. 2 years after I did my very first cruise in 2011 on another Carnival ship. And ironically, in the Poop Cruise documentary, the ship that I was on, the Carnival Legend, happened to stop by the boat that was the Carnival Triumph, which is now the Carnival Sunshine. More on that later. So anyway, the Carnival actually put in a policy because of the fights that really recently happened, that they are going to stop playing rap music on the cruise ships, which I don't have a problem with, to tell you the truth. I really don't. You know. And they're putting things in place. One of them, I think, is going to be that they're not going to allow you to bring bottles there. If you bring bottles there, they're going to check them to make sure it's no alcohol. They're going to stop the policy about buying alcohol, certain alcohols in bulk and stuff like that. You know. Now, I don't know what they're going to do about the stuff with the no tax alcohol stuff, duty free stuff. That's not those. I have to look that up. I may have to do a follow up on that. But they're going to do some restrictions in place. Oh, the other one is you can't bring speakers. Your personal speakers, you will not be able to bring it in. Now, of course, there were several complaints by the community that's saying, oh, that's racist. I can't bring my music. I can't bring my drinks. I can't turn up. No, you cannot. And they were citing that Carnival Cruise Lines has become racist. Now, I've been going to Carnival Cruise Lines for the better part of 15 years or so. I've never known to be racist towards anybody. That I can, to the best of my knowledge. Not even towards me or my family. I've never known them to be racist. So, for that statement to come out as saying that Carnival Cruise Line is racist because of their policies is complete bullshit. Yeah, it is. And the reason why I'm saying it, because I've been on 2 Carnival Cruises myself. I did one in 2011 and another one in 2023 that I did 7 days. I think was the first one. I did a couple Carnival Cruises, I think. Yeah, I take that back. Yeah, I did, because I did one in 2006, I did one in 2011, and I did one in 2023. So the one I did in 2023 was my 3rd Carnival Cruise. Now, the first one was kind of weird. I'm not going to even front. The first one was they couldn't get it because we were supposed to go to the Bahamas on the first Carnival Cruise, which I never got to. Finally did on the 3rd one. So anyway, the second one, I don't even remember, where did we go on the second one? Oh, we went to the Bermuda on the second one with my church, matter of fact. That was fun. But like I said, I never ever recall Carnival ever being racist on any of those 3. And I've been on 3 of them, okay? And what's it? Wait a minute. I think it was 3. No, I take that back. The second cruise that I've been on was on another cruise line. I take that back. So, but like I said, the 2 Carnival Cruises I've been on, I've never had any problems. You know, and the other cruise lines I didn't either. They treat me just the same. Matter of fact, the other cruise lines actually, I would say, a couple steps above Carnival. Not Carnival, because Carnival, the prices are lower. so that they can actually be able to be budget friendly for anybody who wants to go on a cruise, who's never been on a cruise, and make it affordable. Nothing wrong with that. Problem is, when you make it affordable enough for certain folks to get on there, they want to act a damn fool, and then cut up and do whatever they want to do, smoke and drink and fight like crazy on there, just like they was if they was at home. They could do the same thing on the boat, and just defend. I mean, offend people by doing it. No, and playing music, loud music with cursing on it and everything. No, don't nobody want to deal with all that. You didn't go on the cruise to be in the hood. Let's be real. I know I didn't. I go on a cruise to get away from it for a little while, if you know what I mean. Real talk. And Carnival has a right. They have every right. Hear what I said? They have every damn right to make those rules apply if you ain't acting right. And I don't care if you black, white, pink, blue, or green stars. Don't matter. If you ain't acting right anywhere, don't care if it's a cruise ship or whatever. If you ain't gonna act right, get off the damn boat. I totally agree with Carnival. I have no problem saying that. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with the rules. I really don't. Because, I mean, I don't drink anyway, number one. I don't smoke. That's another story. I mean, I do drink, but I usually don't bring bottled drinks anyway, because to me it's a heavier load for me to bring extra stuff I don't need to bring when I can just buy some of it on the cruise. Oh, jeez, this damn traffic is blowing me today, man. I have a hard time getting around as it is. Oh my God. What are we doing here, folks? What are we doing? Okay, I'm gonna do what he's doing. I'm gonna wait too. But anyway, so I'm like, to be honest, I don't want to deal with all that mess. And I don't blame Carnival Cruise. Matter of fact, I support exactly what they're doing. I'm gonna be honest with you. Dead ass. I support them. You know, but you got some people, oh, maybe being racist with this and we can't have no fun. No, they're not saying that you can't have no fun. You just can't be having no fun acting a damn fool out there. They say we can't turn up. No one's saying you can't turn up. But you gotta turn without showing out. You know? And act like a grown ass fool. You know? No one's saying that. Carnival is primarily for families. Okay? Now, if you want to go on a single cruise, that I'm sure they accommodate you with those certain cruises. I know there are certain cruise lines that do certain things like that. All right, and even that, you gotta be respectable. You can't be acting no fool on no cruise. Don't think because you act a fool on a cruise, you're not gonna get in trouble for doing it on the cruise. You know, because they can take you to the nearest port and have you arrested, and then your ass be in trouble. They think they're gonna get away with that stuff. You think you're gonna get away with that doing stupid stuff on a cruise line and not get caught? You'll probably have more of a chance getting caught doing stupid stuff on a cruise line than anything else, and then get busted even quicker. Because all I gotta do is radio in the problem. They got cameras all over them. Trust me, I know this for a fact. They got cameras all over the cruise ships now. You can't get away with too much. You know, that's another whole story. You have to be completely stupid to think you can get away with doing ratchet stuff on a cruise line. So, you know, don't blame white folks for this. Don't blame Carnival being racist for it. Don't blame other black folks not liking what you're doing and calling them coons because they're against what you're doing when you act a fool on cruise line. It's called decorum. It's called having decency within yourself and respect for yourself and other folks. You know, people are on the cruise lines to enjoy themselves and to relax and unwind. Yeah, people like to party. I like to party. I partied on cruise lines before and do all that. For real. I've even got drunk on a couple of them. Didn't do all that. You know, I didn't go buck wild. Usually when I drink, sometimes I chill. But I don't drink. I don't drink that much now anyway. I rarely drink anymore anyway. But that's another whole story. But You got people on there that just act a plumb damn fool just because they're on a boat. I'm a tearing up. Maybe that's the problem. Y'all people don't know when to quit. You turn up when you're home, you turn up when you're on the cruise, and then you don't know how to act when you're on that mug. And then you wonder why they created rules to say, hey, you can't do all that now. You know? You got to have some rules in order to conduct yourself for people to be able to enjoy yourself on a cruise, for everybody to enjoy. Not just you. You know? People want to cherry pick racism and say, oh, you being racist because I can't do what I want to do. Because some of y'all ain't grown up. This fool must thought I was going to run the light. Yeah, that's what that's about. It's just so silly to me. You know? And I think we have a culture of people who just ain't grown up. They think they're grown, but they're not grown. You know? And that don't apply to everybody, but it applies to a number of people who do the kind of stuff that they do on places like Carnival Cruise Line and other places. Okay? That's part of the problem. But some of these folks on YouTube, and I've seen other YouTube folks, who even some who I follow, who thought, oh, it's a racist thing. No, it's not. Just because you the same color that I am, and we're the same skin color, don't mean it's okay for me to support what you do when you ain't doing and when you ain't doing the right thing. I don't support anybody when they're wrong. Black, white, pink, or blue. You guilty, you guilty. And you can't worry about, well, the white can't do this and they do it. I ain't worried about that. Worry about what you doing out here. That's part of the problem. You think because they do it, it's okay for you to do stupid shit? No. If they do stupid stuff, you won't do it too? You want to jump into a fire because they do it? No. That's not how life works, folks. You got to use common sense. People don't want to go on no cruises to be humiliated and distracted. They want to relax and unwind. They have a club where you can go party, and even with that, you got to have some decorum about you. Damn. Go out there acting all raggedy and stuff. This is why I won't tell you about the other cruise lines that I've been on that don't tolerate any of that. Now, in fact, I have. The last cruise I was on, about a year ago, was the best cruise I ever been on. And we was on it for 9 days. It was laid back. People were chill. Wasn't no drama. I didn't see no drama nowhere. And I know they had a nightclub that me and my wife, we didn't go anywhere. We had so much to do in 9 days. We were just too tired to even go. Be honest. I really didn't feel like going to the club at the time. You know. I kind of wanted to go, but I was just too tired to go anyway. I ain't gonna lie. I really wasn't. That's the first time I actually went on a cruise and I didn't go to a club. Yeah. So I was fine with that. But even so, wasn't no loud talking. No, but it wasn't a bunch of mess on there. It really was not. It was, and that was family oriented for the most part on that particular cruise that we went on. And you gotta, you know, the lesson here is you got to learn to act like you got some home training, even if you ain't got no real home training. You gotta act like it, man. These people come out here, you know, we got people out here that drive stupid, that act stupid, that look stupid, that do stupid shit, you know, have people over my way shooting fireworks in the middle of the damn street. My wife was coming home from a comedy club. I mean, seeing a comedy, a comedian, comedy act. Coming home one night, man. It's like, and they were firing fireworks all the way up to midnight. Left stuff all over the damn street. You know, real talk, man. And it wasn't even on our side of the street, it was on another part of the street, and not one person called the police on them. Not one. But I heard it was another incident not far on the other end of where I live, where they did call police. You know, and they got ran out. And this was in broad daylight. People peeing up on somebody's house, all kinds of stuff. I said, you gotta be kidding me. No respect, man. They get out their environment and they go to your environment and act just as stupid, if not more stupid. Stay where you at. If you can't act right where you at, and you try to bring it to where I'm at, best you stay where you at. Don't nobody want to play with that mess. As soon as they call the cops on you. Oh man, you being cool, man. You trying to stop us from turning out, man. No. Nobody's not trying to stop you from having fun. But you gotta have respect when you in somebody's place or somebody's neighborhood like that, man. Nobody want to put what you doing that. No one should have to be responsible for you acting a fool and then mess it up for everybody who's trying to be respectful. Which is kind of what some people did with coming to this Carnival Cruise. Which is why Carnival is putting the rules out there. And you know what? I do not blame them. Because let me give you an example. Now, I moved to my house in 2003, right? We did a party. I had a new deck put up and all that stuff. And we had a party at my house, a housewarming in 2000, I think 2004, something, 2025, 2005, something like that. But 2 years later, anyway, we had a ton of people came over. One dude came over, particularly wanted to smoke in my house. I said, no, bro, can I smoke? No, you can't smoke here. I said, you see all these sprinklers? No, you can't smoke it here. No. I was very adamant about it. He was more than no. You ain't coming to smoke in my house. Smoke outside. I told him, I said, why would you ask to smoke in my house on a nice day? Because he wanted to smoke the funny stuff. And I wasn't having it. And I'm just like, but that goes to show you how inconsiderate people are. You could smoke there. If you want to smoke it outside and get your ass in trouble. Don't smoke in my house. Yeah, he literally wants my house. I said, we are not having that. Yep. I had no smoking zone from that point on. I don't want nobody smoking in my house no way, period. I mean, he did ask. It wasn't like he just did, but still. He didn't get ratchet and just start doing it because then that'd be a problem. It would have been a big problem for him. But he was respectful enough to ask. So I give him that. Some people won't even do that. They figure, I thought it was okay. No, it's not. Same thing with the Carnival Cruise. People be going there doing goofy stuff, wild stuff. Say wild shit that they do at home, they gonna bring it to Carnival. It's if you want to do it in your own home, that's fine. But Carnival's public, okay? People want to go to enjoy and spend quality time with their families on the cruise line. Not for you to get ratchet everywhere you go on the damn cruise. And you want to go on an excursion and do a little of that, that's fine. If they allow that, or whatever. But on the cruise ship, when you gotta stay there for a few days to a week or so, no. So I watched the poop cruise, man. Oh God, you had to watch it. Let's put it. You had to watch that. But I was amazed, and they mentioned something, and I brought that to my wife's attention one time when we was on the not the last cruise for that. And it was a Carnival Cruise, where it seemed like they overbook a lot of people, and they kind of mentioned it on that documentary too, because there was a ton of people on that cruise line. It was the Carnival Triumph, which is now the Carnival Sunshine. The Carnival Sunshine, which was the Carnival, used to be the Carnival Triumph, had a mishap recently. Matter of fact, it was the same weekend that I went on my cruise in May of 2023. The same weekend, sure was. Not only was it the same weekend, it was the same day we were heading back, and that cruise ship got in trouble. Sure did. Got in trouble right behind us. And our ship was kind of rocking that day. I actually got sick that following day we were heading back. I mean, I got real sick. Yep, I didn't recover for 2.5 weeks. So I don't know if that was from a virus or something. It happened to be the same time that the Sunshine almost flooded the whole boat out. The same boat. We weren't on that boat. We was on the Legend, which was a ship that was the sister ship to the Triumph, which later became the Sunshine, and the Legend was probably featured in the documentary. Same boat I was on a decade later. That's ironic. So I'm actually, taking accountability. Are cruise lines really safe? But like I said, I had never been stuck on a cruise line. This is the fourth cruise I had been on. I take that back. It's like the third cruise I had been on in 2023, and it had to be the second one for Carnival, and I got sick on that joint. Coming from the Bahamas. Never been sick on any cruise line. I was sicker than a dog. Sure was. I said, I don't know if it was the popcorn I ate or something. Somebody, because I was eating like a banshee at the time too, man. I was eating a little everything, so. But my thing is, man, just be particular about the cruise lines you're on. Don't be ghetto when you go on these cruises, man. This food won't go anyway. You see me come up here. Yeah. Literally saw me come across here and you asked food. Nah. I'm not about to get no ticket fees. But yeah, I don't understand it, man. I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. And what makes it so bad though is that it makes people think that we're all like that. Because when you're around act like that, and unmelanated people look at you when they look at everybody else acting like that, they try to lump everybody in. That's the bad part about it. But that's because they're those slow-minded pea brains that think, oh yeah, we won't put everybody in there because we don't like none of y'all. And that's what people do. That's why I think bad at everybody. Like they think that about our entire culture because a few people do it. It's really because they don't like any of us anyway. They think we're all susceptible to doing it, and we're not all susceptible to doing it. That's just BS. That's another whole story. But when you act civilized, people can't question you. But when you got people who does this all the time, turn up and this and that and other and all kind of foolishness that you don't need to be doing when you in public places. People gonna have an opinion about it. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm gonna say it again. It does not, and I repeat, it doesn't make you racist because you want to change policies. But if you're doing stupid stuff that you ain't got no business doing, it's just saying, hey, we won't tolerate that mess. And I don't blame them. And I'm 100% with Carnival on it. All day. No matter what y'all say, no matter what other YouTubers say about, y'all being racist, and y'all, or these so-called, some of these pro-black channels, because I heard a couple of them already talking about it already. That goes along with them talking about Carnival. Carnival ain't no more racist than anybody else on that. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. If I ran Carnival, you probably wouldn't even be on my ship. Next. I'm out.